Welcome everyone to Post-Crisis Comics, the Brave and the Bold edition. I am your co-host, Randy, much less frustrated this time around with the technology. With me is my ever-patient co-host.
I am the Zen Master Cookie. You know what? Hey, if you are a first-time viewer, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, but you know what? Don't just be lazy. Remember, like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Because if you do that stuff, we're going to let you know next week when we drop an episode. And you know, it's going to really help us out. So do that stuff for us.
Yeah, and it's such a small thing to do, and it really does help us grow the channel. If you're not a first-time viewer, we want to welcome you back. Thank you so much for watching the video. We hope you enjoy it. We are so thankful to have you here.
Definitely. And now we get to the juicy part. Of course, we're going to have to advise you that we're going to be talking about spoilers because you know what? That's what we do. We spoil things. And you know what? We're going to be talking about an episode. We're going to be talking about an issue of Absolute Batman. This is going to be our part 2 because it was such a big one that we had to split this sucker up. So we're in part 2 of Absolute Batman. And as always, we got
Batman
Scott.
#1.
Yes, Absolute Batman #1. Thank you. We've got Scott Snyder as our writer. We've got Nick Dragotta as our artist, and we got Frank Martin as our colorist. And then those two, Dragotta and Martin, also did the cover to this.
Yes, and we covered the cover last episode. So if you'd like to know our opinion on that, hop back to there. So right now we're just going to jump right back into where we left off the last time. Mayor Gordon is holding a town hall on the party animals and regarding the Gotham situation. If you'd like to know more about that situation and what's going on, last episode. This guy in the middle who runs Fingers Tailors on 27th Street for 71 years. For those not in the know, Bill Finger co-created Batman, and Batman's first appearance was in Detective Comics number 27. It's the little things like this in this comic that bring me joy. And Pennyworth's diary starts back up. He says the party animals are headed into this town hall that is all about the party animals being a problem. Pennyworth wants to engage to stop a mass casualty event, but his employer declines. I really wonder who his employer is, especially given what we're going to find out towards the end of the issue, who Alfred was chasing in Singapore. I want to know more about Alfred's employer.
Yeah, I'm very, very curious about it because it makes it seem like they do not care about people, like regular people. Nope, they don't matter. They're just cannon fodder. But you know, like, hey, make sure you keep an eye on that Batman fellow. He doesn't seem right. That's a little troublesome to me.
Exactly.
I got to point out the fact that I love the fact that Gordon is mayor. That was a sweet little twist.
That Gordon is, mayor as opposed to police commissioner. Yes, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. Like I did not see that coming. I expected the typical Gordon being a cop thing. Maybe he was going to be a younger cop. Maybe they're going to go like the whole Gotham TV show kind of thing of like young Jim Gordon. Nope, we got old Jim Gordon, but he's a mayor.
Yep.
I'm down for that.
So, next we find out that the party animals are burning down police stations. This is rather bold of them, I must say. Though when we're dealing with Darkseid's universe that rewards criminal and evil activity, that shouldn't be maybe as much of a surprise. We also get our first appearance of Bullock, who looks significantly less sloppy here than he does in the Earth 1 universe. Bruce's mom then stands up in support of Mayor Gordon, and then a grenade goes off. I love the sound effect bang on the last panel of this page. It was chef's kiss, perfect.
Yeah, this was. I mean, okay. Before I even get into anything else, I just want to bring up the fact that it's like you just said Bruce's mom, like it was nothing. You're like, oh yeah, Bruce's mom is there. By the way, Bruce's mom is there and alive. That's a huge thing, man. Like that completely shifts the narrative. I saw that and I was like, I think I was like this close to crapping my pants in surprise. Like I thought I was going to have to go get like a whole new pair of chonies or something because I did not see that coming. Bruce's
Mm.
parents die. This is how this goes, and now we've got his mom's alive. And like I'm kind of curious, how is his mom going to be? Like we never get to see anything with his parents,
You
so
know
I
what?
was super excited.
I've literally read this issue probably 7 or 8 times now, and I keep up with this book on a monthly basis. So it was not as much of a shock to me that that is Bruce's mom, and it should have been, especially on the video. So I apologize, folks. I did not. That did not enter my brain that it would be such a shock that she was still alive. Just, I think it's because I've read this so many times.
Honestly, pull back from the curtain. Yeah, I read this before too. I'm just pretending this is my first time reading it. So it's like, but it's like
uh,
seriously though, I did want to throw that out there because like that is a huge surprise.
It is. It is. The party animals shoot Mayor Gordon. And then we get the first appearance of his daughter, Barbara Gordon. On Earth 1, Barbara Gordon becomes Batgirl and later Oracle, and then Batgirl again. In this world, she's a cop. She works, alongside her dad as mayor. That's pretty cool.
I kind of like that. The only thing I did kind of I got to bring up, and this is going to sound like a horrible complaint, and it's not. I swear it's not a complaint. But when I saw that she was black, I had to double check back because Gordon's not black, right? In this one, he is white.
He is.
Okay, so like that kind of this kind of threw me off of like okay, because I know like sometimes Gordon will be black as well. I think like one of the cartoons and then one of the movies he's black. So it's like I had to double check.
Hmm.
I don't. The only problem I have with her being black is the fact that it's like I don't know what it is with comics today. Of like why is it always the redheaded characters that get turned into like they race swap redheaded characters? Why does comics hate redheads so much? What happened to redheads? Are they really evil or something? Was South Park right? Did they like lead the way in this? But no, like I'm actually kind of cool. Like I want to see what they're going to do with her as a cop. And then like she's got to become Batgirl, and I'm hoping her becoming Batgirl, they'll do the nod to the Adam West series of she has to put on the red wig to cover her hair to
Hmm.
become Batgirl. I just think that would be a cool little like nod to Yvonne Craig.
At the time of recording, we have not seen Batgirl appear yet, so it would be interesting if that did happen. So moving on to the next page, we get a sit rep from the cops in Pennyworth. Things are looking bad. And then we get Batman upside down telling Officer Gordon not to open the door no matter what she hears. Badass. I love the fact that they brought him in upside down because, he's a bat and bats hang out upside down.
Definitely, I'm here for this. Like I think when this happened, I literally said out loud like, "Oh, this is going to be good." Like you just felt the anticipation swell. Like, okay, this is going to be interesting. Let's see where this goes.
Pennyworth is told to engage Batman if Batman interferes with intelligence gathering. I really want to know who is on the other side of that earpiece. The party animals shoot at Batman, who protects himself with what appears to be a bulletproof cape, as Batman drops something on the animals, a gas pellet from the look of it.
You're kind of really hitting it home with the like, who is he working for? Like, even the more you bring it up, like I was wondering too multiple times, like, who is he working for? It's even you bringing up now. I keep thinking this is going to lead to something big because for him not to engage, it feels like there's somebody behind the scenes, and I don't know who it is. Um, like for some reason, checkmate pops in my mind, but I don't know if
Hmm.
they're going to go that direction.
I don't believe we've seen Maxwell Lord yet, but it would be interesting if he showed up. Um, So then the next page, one of the best pages in the book, we get our full-on view of how huge this version of Batman is. He is dropping himself on the animals as the smoke bombs go off in the background. I adore this page because it really conveys how huge Batman is in comparison to everyone else. And seriously, Bruce, how can you hope to maintain a secret identity when you look like that?
I have two complaints about this. Only two complaints. One being, uh, yes, how is he going to maintain his secret identity when literally his left calf muscle is the same size as my big fat flabby ass? That does not make sense. This is impossible. The other thing is, how is a man this gigantic going to be able to maneuver and flip around and do anything? I mean, I love professional wrestling. I watch professional wrestling almost religiously. Very rarely do you see the big guys that are that huge do anything other than stumble and walk like they've got hemorrhoids, because like the body is not meant to be that flexible and agile when you become that gigantic.
This is one of those places that I'm going to say it's a comic book. Don't overthink it. um, and I, I get into that at the end. Anyway, so Batman uses his cape to fling someone away. I mean, that is so awesome. I love the new tools that this creative team has given to this new version of Batman. And I think that it really shows that this creative team, that they live close by each other. I've read interviews from them. They both live in around New York City. And they go over to each other's houses and like do this comic book in their basements. Like one will sit there and draw, and they'll talk as they write and draw, and it really is a collaborative story between the two of them. And all of this really cool stuff that they came up with Batman is just awesome. And then the other animal gets thrown and is wrapped around a light pole, which I really enjoy how it shows us how strong Batman really is.
Definitely. I actually have some more stuff that I have a note on the whole weapon thing, and as we get more into the weapons, I will say it, because there's a lot more weapons to come, and so I don't want to waste that little note that I took on just the cape, because there's a lot more that we've got coming.
So then Pennyworth observes things and lies about what's happening to the person in his earpiece as a massive amount of party animals storm up the steps towards Batman. So Pennyworth is a good-hearted person, we find out, because he's actively lying to his employer about the situation so that he doesn't have to so that he can be more independent about what he wants to do and possibly help the situation.
Yeah, I thought they did a good job with that. Like, you got to see that he has a heart, that he doesn't want to go after Batman at this point, because like Batman's the only one keeping these people safe. Like, they would all be dead if it wasn't for him, and Pennyworth
Mm-hmm.
can't do anything about it. So
Right.
I did like that, and it really makes me question. All right, what I mean, these people that are uh, Pennyworth superiors, they've got like sophisticated tech that like they're seeing this stuff go down live as it's happening, basically. So again, this has got to be like some pretty top-notch military uh, uh, group, or something. Who
Yeah.
are these people?
Exactly. I want to know too. Pennyworth is impressed with how well trained Batman is. He calls Batman brutal yet precise. I personally like this take on Batman where he dishes out appropriate levels of punishment given the circumstances. Yet, there are no fatalities. Batman doesn't kill, yet there's a lot that you can do to somebody before they die.
I'm torn. Okay, so I'll admit I am torn. Um, the brutality is a little harsh for my taste in Batman. I like a more, you know, Bruce Timm, Paul Dini animated series Batman. That's the Batman I grew up on. That's the one I kind of want. But for this universe, hands down, like this, you could not do another Batman in a dark side driven, universe. This is what you have to do. And I, like you said, like the weapons, the fact that it's like you got the cape as a weapon, the like he's using weapons that like I didn't even know that he could use. That
Mm.
they're turning things into weapons. It's like he's they really decked him out as like an all out. Okay, so this is what it reminds me of. This is actually the thought that was the first time I read it that popped in my head. Uh, Jumping to Image in the 90s, even Marvel in the 90s, when Rob Liefeld would draw those characters with the big pouches all over the place, and they were just basically decoration, like they didn't do anything. This is essentially that to me that thing of like, what the hell was in those pouches? What kind of weapons could you have had? And this is, you've got them bringing all these things that you didn't know were weapons. Now they're deadly. They're deadly things.
Hmm. So next we see a party animal who is a self-admitted murderer, gives Batman a chance to surrender, and Batman's response is to pull a goddamn bat symbol battle axe off his chest. I love these new tools that they are giving Batman. Like, I literally cheered the first time I saw this scene, and I still do it when I reread the comic. I'm like, hell yes, this is so awesome. And I think this is what you were alluding to earlier with the weapons, or at least part of it.
Yeah. Um, the weapon thing was like, yeah, when he did the battle axe thing, I was like, all right, okay, this is interesting. We are getting some new takes on Batman's weaponry here, some things that I've never seen before. Um, we got the battle axe, we got the cape. Uh, what else has he used? It's like, did I miss anything?
Not yet.
Okay, I feel like there's more coming,
Oh,
but
there
there's like
is.
it's like he's just for some reason they just turned him into a basically weapon of mass destruction.
Yep.
No, excuse me, a weapon of ass destruction.
Okay. Batman lops off a guy's hand, and then he's like, they can reattach those sometimes. There's a hospital close by. South? Or is it east? I forget. This version of Batman is freaking brutal, and I am here for it.
Am I the only one that wants to see this version of Batman came up with that? I think it's the Garth Ennis Punisher series when Punisher was just killing people on every other page.
Batman doesn't kill, though.
Yeah, but I feel like Batman wouldn't stop Frank from killing. He would just be like, "Hey, that's not my style, but yeah, you do you, man."
Batman yells at them to get out of my way as he makes spikes come up out of his back like he is some really aggressive turtle. I love this panel. He looks so freaking badass here. I mean, this image of Batman is destined to become iconic. Pennyworth notes that Batman is a true tactician since he set a trap for the fleeing party animals. The person in Pennyworth's ear tells him to engage Batman.
I, I just again, it's that thing. I was like, dude, you, why are you so hell bent on him going after Batman? Like, what is the purpose? Like, you're not gonna have this person, or you're not gonna have Pennyworth go after the party animals and save the day and do the stuff that is like you're probably supposed to be doing. Like, yeah, you're not a cop, but still, it's like it feels like this is the kind of thing that a military person would do. Would be like, I'm gonna stop this terrorist attack
Hmm.
on Homeland, but Batman, okay, yeah, we can shoot Batman,
Well,
and this isn't going to end well.
Pennyworth tries to get the drop on Batman, but finds out it is Batman who got the drop on Pennyworth. I love the sound effects here. They continue to be amazing, and the little fight between Batman and Pennyworth, just an awesome page. Then Pennyworth continues writing in his diary as we see Bruce Wayne at work the next day. Um, Pennyworth has discovered that Batman is Bruce Wayne. Mom is a social worker, still alive, as Cookie noted, and Dad is a teacher. Bruce Wayne is just some random guy who grew up in Crime Alley with a close knit group of friends. We also find out that Bruce won a trip to the local zoo that we saw back at the beginning of the book for designing a bridge that is based on the engineering of a bat.
That is intriguing. That is very, very intriguing. That kind of explains what we've seen with the cape so far.
It does. And then we flash back to the zoo. You can tell due to those wonderful color changes. The zoo is having a mass shooting event. Bruce's father, who is a teacher for the class that Bruce won a class trip for, is doing everything he can to protect the children and get them hidden. Bruce's father, the teacher, stuffs all the kids in the bat enclosure. Bruce begs his father to come in, but his father slams the door and says not to open it no matter what is heard outside. A callback to telling Barbara Gordon the same thing about not opening the door no matter what she hears on the outside, which is technically a callback to this moment. We just didn't see this moment until after the fact. And then we see blam! And the flower laying on the concrete. This sound effect in these two panels, they hit me like a truck. Because this is where we realize that what happened to Bruce's father.
Yeah, I mean, once I saw the mother alive, I figured, all right, I know it's going to be like one of them has to die. There's no way they're both going to be alive. So I figured it's going to be the father that died. The zoo thing is interesting. Again, a switch from Crime Alley, that it was the zoo. And also, I didn't bring it up before, but it's interesting twist that his father's a teacher, and in main continuity, his father was a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of an interesting twist of going the teacher instead of the doctor route. I feel like that is going to be an important shift.
It's about money.
And
doctors have money. Teachers don't.
Yeah. And that's I like that. That is kind of interesting that it's like, yeah, we're getting a version of Bruce Wayne that did not grow up rich, which I think we brought up in the last episode that was going to be one of the changes and stuff, but we didn't really talk about it yet this episode that, yeah, he's a working man. He's not a rich boy. He's not a playboy. He's just your everyday steroid induced jacked up freak.
We're actually going to talk about that a little bit right now. So we learn that Bruce did lose himself for a while. He became a criminal, but eventually he does go back to school and he studies all of these different things, everything he can possibly think of to become the Batman. Bruce goes through a myriad of jobs for the city, presumably so he could learn everything there is to know about Gotham City. And Pennyworth thinks that he's found Bruce's weakness. So yes, that's why I wanted to kind of cut you off a little bit and get to that, because Bruce goes through all these different jobs at the cities. And, you know, some of them are being an engineer, but even as an engineer, you're spending time down in dark, dank sewers. You're getting your hands dirty. He is definitely a blue-collar worker when you take those things into account. Even though he has a college education and he studied all those things, he works with his hands. And I think that's the really important distinction between Earth 1 Batman and Bruce and Absolute Batman and Bruce.
Yeah, it definitely is. And it's an interesting thing. I don't think I picked up on it the first time I read this, but going through the reread on it, what was very intriguing to me was that Alfred kind of touched on it. It's like he's learning the city by doing these jobs. That's not just a thing of like, oh, well, we're just going to do this throwaway thing of him being blue collar and not rich or anything like that. No, they took it and ran with it of like, yeah, just because you're blue collar doesn't mean anything. Of you get to work these jobs and you're going to learn the ins and outs of your city better than anybody. So, like
Mm-hmm.
you said, the engineer working underneath the stuff, he's going to know those tunnel systems. He's going to know all that stuff. Uh, like the buildings, building these buildings, he's going to know all the hidden like chambers. He can put in hidden chambers in these buildings, set up like all kinds of places that he can like hide out in if he needs to get into them or something. There's a lot of technical aspects to this Batman that kind of on surface level you may have missed. That's kind of
Mm.
interesting.
It really is. Now, regarding Alfred, or sorry, Pennyworth finding Bruce's weakness, he has. It is, in fact, Bruce's mother. And I think that Pennyworth is right that she is Bruce's weakness. And about this time, we see Batman, about this time, we see Bruce catching up with his mother. We see Pennyworth get a text from his daughter. The daughter never wants to see him again. Bruce tells his mom he was at the zoo, and we previously saw him place that white flower, so Bruce was leaving the flower in memory of his father. Um, we see Bruce making a log of his events, and Pennyworth trying to sneak up on him. Bruce notes the masks of the party that the party animals are wearing are more than meets the eye. So Pennyworth says he is closing down Batman right now. In a completely shocking to me turn of events, Batman not only threatens Pennyworth with a gun, but then actually uses it. I love how Pennyworth is all, "You won't use it." And in response, Batman shoots him.
That was like my note here literally says the fight with Alfred and Batman was nice. I wasn't a fan of Batman using a gun at first, but the way that he used it was smart and actually kind of cool. And that was the thought that popped in my head that I had to sit and jot down because like yeah, like you said, Batman doesn't use guns. Like that's kind of the rule because of that's the way his parents died, so you don't deal with them and everything. Um, this Batman's like, no, I'll use a gun. I'm not going to kill you with it, but like I'm going to like modify it so it's still going to hurt you. Uh,
Yeah, well, and that's on the next page, actually. Pennyworth realizes the shotgun has been modified to be non lethal. Not only that, but Batman has stolen Pennyworth's motorcycle, which is hilarious to me. Batman lets Pennyworth know that Batman has been following Pennyworth ever since Pennyworth arrived in the city. And then Batman rides Pennyworth's bike out the window of the 100th story of a building, and we are once again reminded that bats are crazy as Pennyworth is going, where the hell is he going to land? And I also love the fact that the shotgun pellets that were in this gun are little tiny Batman symbols all stuck in Pennyworth's face. This,
I didn't catch that. I was going to ask, was like, what was it he shot him with? Was it like rock salt or something? But okay, so it was like little bat symbol.
little bat symbols that are literally sticking all over the place in Alfred's face.
Okay, so I know we had a discussion about him being blue collar, but seriously, how much money does it cost to go out and buy little bat symbols to stick in a modified shotgun? I don't feel like that's cheap and that's going to show up on a credit card somewhere and he's going to get caught again. Again,
Not
this
if
is
they're
like
3D
how
printed plastic. He's an engineer,
mm, okay.
and 3D
All right.
printing is cheap.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
So then we get an awesome splash page, a Batman flying through the air on a motorcycle with a full moon in the background. Another absolutely iconic image. In fact, I put that as a background for my iPad, one of the backgrounds that it runs through. Um, anyway, so then we get an epilogue, and this epilogue is really interesting. Alfred hears a voice from the other side of the earpiece and finds out the 5 years of work that he did in Singapore is down the toilet, which has really got to suck. And lastly, we get to see Pennyworth's previous target, which also happens to be the first appearance of the Joker, a man who never laughs and no one knows who he actually is. This page is so good. It gives me chills when it says the Joker and you get most of his face in shadow and just like the corner of his eye kind of glaring. Oh, so
I
good.
was this was interesting to me because until we got the reveal of the Joker, my thought process was Pennyworth going after Deathstroke, because the way he was talking about how he killed the League of Assassins and he killed like another group or whatever. But I thought like, okay, so he's training. Like, was he training or something? And then, oh, it was Henry Ducard, the guy who trained Batman in the main universe, one of the trainers. Um, so again, I was going like, okay, was Deathstroke the target? Was this our introduction to absolute Deathstroke? And then we go into, no, it's Joker, and I was like, all right, this is an interesting Joker.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. Like, it was a little underwhelming because I kind of felt like the way we got this drastic change in the main villain that we're getting for this story arc, I was expecting a major drastic change for possibly the Joker too. But the change was a little bit like, all right, he's just a dude that doesn't laugh. Like, okay, I'm like, I
Well,
want to see where you're gonna go with it.
we're gonna get there. In about 14 issues, it'll get really really interesting. So overall, this issue was really good. I thought it was a great introduction to Batman, Pennyworth, and their supporting cast. And like I mentioned before, this is like the 6th or 7th time I've read this issue. I really love the Absolute Universe that much. Whenever a new trade paperback comes out, I go back and I reread the previous trade paperbacks just to remind myself of what happened before I read the new trade paperback. So that's kind of why I've read this so many times. Um, so as I talk about these books, I want to try not to give away too much of what happens in the way of future spoilers, in case viewers haven't actually read it and want to be surprised. Having said all that, this issue is not perfect. Um, Understand it's very, very good, but there are a few small issues I have with the art. And I realize that this is me nitpicking also, but there are parts where the art is not very detailed. I would like it to be more detailed. I also found the look of Roman's kid to be very confusing. I didn't understand what was up with Roman's kid's tentacle hair. It was really weird. Um, the story, though, like the writing, flat out 5 of 5. I have to drop my overall score a little bit for the art. The art gets a 4.5 out of 5. So I'm going to average the two and give the issue a 4.7 out of 5 total.
Wow, you just got like uber technical there. I was like, all right, this is
I
way more
had
technical.
to not because it did bother me a little bit. It did that there were some issues with the art, but at the same time, I also wanted to be objective about it, despite the fact that I am a total fanboy to this absolute Batman.
I can't nitpick the artwork on this one because to me he falls under the category of like a more like abstract kind of artist, which is the kind of art that I tend to go for a lot of times. I like the weirder style in artwork, and that's what I'm getting from Dragotta is a little bit more of a weird abstract artistic style. Um, so like lack of detail, things like that, that doesn't bother me in these because I'm like, all right, this is who you are as an artist. This is your style. If this was Jim Lee or I hate to always throw Jim Lee out there, but he just always feels like the most perfect, quote unquote, perfect artist out there. Maybe David Finch. Then it's like, all right, I expect a little bit more detail from you guys because you do a lot of that typical comic book art style.
I,
Um,
I want to interject real quick. I think as the series goes on, Dragotta's art actually does get more detailed, and that may be why I'm being a little bit more nitpicky now, because it's still early on for him in this book, and maybe he hasn't quite found his stride yet. I think he does get more detailed, and the art does get better as he goes on.
I think it definitely does. It's been a while since I mean, this is going to be interesting because rereading this, I mean, I don't go back and read it as often as you do. Like I read it and then I'm kind of done with it. I like the Absolute Universe. It is a fun read. It is entertaining. I don't love it to the level that you do, where I read it religiously. Like every Sunday morning, I wake up, I say a prayer to Saint Batman, read Absolute Batman, and then sacrifice my firstborn to Absolute Batman, kind of thing. I'm not at that level of love yet.
Well, I think a
With
lot of
this.
it is the Absolute Universe is what really brought me back to comics. That's when I made a commitment to pick up monthly issues, and when I started reading monthly again, and I think the Absolute Universe being created and me getting into it is what led us to being here in this podcast.
And that makes sense. Like you kind of, I don't know if I've found my love that's brought me back. I think I've always been kind of in and out and periods and stuff. So it's like I don't have that kind of love the way like when I first got into comics, kind of thing. Um, but I guess like we kind of went off on a little bit of a tangent here. But I guess for like my score, I'm gonna go with more of a I'm gonna go with a 4.5. I'm not gonna do the 7.6s. To me, it's like 4.5 to 5 is where I go on my scale here. 4.5 is not 100% perfect because I'm still at a point where I'm not 100% in love with the darkness of the Absolute Universe. I think it's going to take me a little bit longer for that to grow on me and get used to it. It's a real kind of culture shock to go from what I'm typically comfortable with in comics to what this is going to be. But it definitely good writing. Again, I have to say it like Snyder. When you do Batman, I love you, man. You're amazing. Keep doing Batman. Stay the hell away from anything other than Batman, please.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. We are really glad that you're here with us watching. We do this for the love of the comics medium, and I really hope it comes across how much we really do love comics and love talking about them.
Definitely. Even if we hate ourselves and hate our co-host and stuff, we love comics, and that's why
Hey,
we're
I
doing this.
love me. It's you that's the problem.
But hey, you know what? You guys should probably check us out on Patreon because if you go there, we get that post-crisis chat or post-crisis comics now book club. That's going to be for our members, and you know what? If we have some great comics conversations on there with our members, we show off our hauls. I got some pictures coming up of some stuff that's come in, so those will be popping up on there. And we're going to let you see some funny uncensored videos. There's going to be quite a few coming out of these two-parters that we just recorded that will pop up on there. And then also, you know what? Check us out on Blue Sky. I'm sure Blue Sky's link is down in the description. I'm sure Randy's got some cool stuff happening on Blue Sky. He'll have to talk about it.
So also don't forget to check out the description for links to our Amazon affiliate page. You can pick up this trade paperback of Absolute Batman so you can read along with us. And when you use our affiliate link to make that purchase, it doesn't cost you anything extra, but a little bit of the money comes back to the show so that we can upgrade cameras, upgrade lighting, upgrade co-hosts. Wait, did I say that out loud?
Get anger management for Randy.
Yes, I definitely need that so I don't throw this freaking computer out the freaking window. Anyway, so just think about clicking on that Amazon affiliate link if you'd like to pick up the book. It would really help the channel. Doesn't cost you anything extra to do it.
Exactly. And a perfect segue for what I'm about to tell you right now, because you know what? Speaking of helping the channel, hey, would you like to help us out? You know what would help us
Please.
out? All you got to do is like this video, subscribe to the channel, comment as soon as you see those videos popping up and stuff. Those things seem like a small thing to do, but you know what? They're definitely going to help the algorithm, help the channel grow, and they're going to make us smile. They're going to put smiles on Randy's angry face.
Yes, exactly. Lastly, we want to give a big shout out To our editors, we got 2 of them now. Nacho King, as always, and then Nickname Nick is also our newest editor. We are so glad to have him here, taking a little bit of the load off of Nacho King, trying to help get us back on a regular schedule with releasing the videos. Thank you both. You guys are awesome.
Definitely, yes. We could not do this without you, and we appreciate Nick getting Nacho King's load off.
What the hell?
That's going in an outcast.
Thank you.
So yeah, I was gonna say, what do we want for our closer tonight?
I don't know. I was just thinking about it. You got something?
I got something. Yes. All right. Obviously, we want to thank you guys for being here tonight. But hey, you know what? Make sure that your day is as swole as Absolute Batman.
Yes, I like it. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Have a good night.